Are always popular places on New Year's Day. Holiday makers usually flock to the beaches in large numbers. Now, reporter Sbonga Mbatha spoke to lifeguard Sihle Xaba.
The very first few hours of the first day of a new year seem to be filled with quite a number of first things that are happening for the first time. From seeing horses that are able to go inside the sea and swim and protect people. It's quite a first for me, and I believe for most people as well. But of course, a number of holiday makers continue to flock inside the sea, as you can see behind me. Many people are just out in the sun having a good time, making sure that they cool off in the sea, and that always means more work for people who are working with people and making sure that they are safe, which are the lifeguards along the promenade. And of course, from last night, they had their hands full as we were seeing thousands of people along the beach for New Year's celebrations. Even this morning, the numbers continue to increase, and that means more work for them. But just to quickly recap on last night's festivities and what type of incidents that transpired, which they had to quickly respond to, I have with me Sihle Xaba, who is the senior lifeguard here at the Durban promenade. Sihle, from last night, what were some of the moments where you guys had to quickly respond? I do understand that there were quite a few transgressors.
Yes, last night was probably one of the busiest in a very long time. It started off slowly, and there was a lot of entertainment in the New Beach area, and I started work basically from 6 until 12 midnight, and I found myself only working up until this morning. So I haven't had an ounce of sleep, because the people, after they've celebrated the new year, they started flocking into the water, and unfortunately for some, they experienced quite, I would say, some incidents. We had some robberies. We had a tourist that was stabbed, had multiple stab wounds, and he was in a bad shape. So we stabilized him, and he was transported to a hospital by paramedics. So since last night, it's just been stab incidents, complaints of robberies. But the SABC and the Metro Police, they've been on it, because they've been with us, they've been helping us. But unfortunately, I couldn't really attend to most of those, because I had to just make sure that there are lifeguards who are keeping those people out of the water, because since from the afternoon, they were in the water, and they were swimming, they were having fun. And as you can see right now, we have
a lifeguard is
attending to a rescue situation. So this is one of the typical stuff that we have to attend to.
It goes to show that you guys have your hands full all the time. Do you have enough manpower and enough resources to attend to everyone, seeing that we're expecting quite a number of people as well today?
Well, I could say that yes, there were additional lifeguards that were brought in by eThekwini municipality, but even though we had additional 62 seasonal lifeguards, but obviously you can see the crowd of people, it turns up chaotic, and because of the drinking, that is just a recipe for disaster, and people do not want to follow the lifeguards' instructions. So yeah, it gets a bit tricky, and with us we have to face with all these challenges. But then, because of the passion and the love for the job, and knowing that we're here, especially to make sure that people are swimming safe, and if anybody gets into difficulty, we are there to help them. Then we just make sure that we're here the whole time.
In terms of manpower, you do say that there was additional people on the ground to assist you guys, but the proper resources, because it's a matter of being instant and very quick to respond. Are there enough resources?
Yes, there are enough resources. We were recently provided with 7 jet skis and 4 brand new rescue boats, which they are a very powerful, or I could say very effective source of equipment that we need for our job, because at the end of the day we have to be out there on jet skis 24/7 and making sure that you are herding those bathers into shallow water. And also they're very effective when it comes to rescues as well, because they're very quick, they're very efficient. So with us it's a matter of preventing, because prevention is better than cure. So basically we are going to be in the water up until it gets dark. Basically the only time we come in is if we have to refuel our craft and go back out.
Yeah. Just lastly, speaking to the police earlier on, they did speak around their contingency plan. How long does yours stretch? Because we do understand that it's not just the 1st of January. People are just still going to be flocking in throughout the first 2 weeks of January.
Well, it's basically that last week before the schools open. We're still going to be in full force. We're still going to be vigilant. Because that last weekend of the holidays, that's where actually surprisingly most of the people who doesn't want to come down when it's too crowded, they want to come and enjoy themselves, and only to find that you get different people from different provinces, and it ends up being busy, and the ocean currents as well, they're not helping us. We've just come off spring tides, and we're going into neap tides, so it's not helping. The currents are extremely dangerous. So I would urge people out there to take extra precaution. And as you can see out there now, a lifeguard is going back out. There are people who are getting sucked into that inshore channel. So it's something that we have to put up with all the time. I mean, the lifeguard did herd them back, and they're heading back out. As you can see, they're holding each other. And one guy is literally raising his hand to call for assistance.
Thank you very much for your time, Sihle.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let me just leave you to get back to your job. Like,
Yes.
you are now seeing that things are getting a bit busy.
Yeah.
Let me just leave you to your
Thank
job.
you very much. Thank you.
There was, of course, Sihle Xaba, who is a senior lifeguard here along the Durban promenade. Like we were speaking, we witnessed a few events where people are reaching out for help. And of course, as expected, like he was explaining, that they are always very quick to respond to such incidents to make sure that they curb the number of drownings that we have recorded in the province between the 23rd up until this day. We do understand that 9 drownings were recorded from the 23rd of December. So he's saying that they're working around the clock to make sure that they curb that number and make sure that no more people drown along the beach. He did mention that right up until the last weekend before schools open, that's where they receive quite a number of people, so they are going to be on high alerts. He did also highlight on last night, saying that they really had their hands full. It is always nice to reflect on their job of the end, to see that what do they do to make sure that people are safe, and those who transgress, and how do they respond to such situations. It continues to be a very beautiful day along the coast, and a very nice day out on the beach for holiday makers.
Great reporting from our reporter as well as our video journalist there in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal.